It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another unboxing here at Phoenix Handhelds. And this week, I've got another dual screen handheld in what is probably the biggest box that any handheld has come in thus far. They said it comes with a gift box because I was one of the first few orderers. But hey, I don't know until I dig in. So let's dig in right after this. Hey fam, Swati Toot Gong Crap, P-Nick here. First and foremost, before I dig into this box, I want to thank you, yes you, for joining me for another video here at Phoenix Handhelds. I know you have a lot of options on YouTube, not just regarding handhelds, but regarding anything and everything under the sun. So I'm glad that I can be one of the things that you spend your time to watch. That said, I want to make sure that you know all of these videos are for you. And remember, I do a live stream every Wednesday. So leave a comment down below what game you would like to see tested on this device that we're going to get into. And I want to know the console and the game. For example, Super Mario Brothers, NES. That's all I need, and I'll make sure that plays on the next live stream. So whether you watched it live with me and you ask questions live, or you come back later and watch it in your own time, absolutely perfectly fine. But I'm happy to play those games for you. Just ask Frostbite11. He was able to put in a request 2 weeks ago, and that same week I played it for him on the AYN Thor. That said, this is another dual screen device. So will it be an even better dual screen device? I'm not sure. I can't wait anymore. Let's get into this box. All right. As I mentioned, this is probably the biggest box I've unboxed on my channel. And this is the Ayaneo Pocket DS. Unquestionably a bigger device, but I lose one of the OLED panels for bigger screens. So, there's a trade-off. And Ayaneo has said that I got a gift box. I don't know what that means, but let's take a look. All right. So I did get the limited edition gray one that reminds me of an original PlayStation controller because, yes, I'm that big of a nerd. And they did have gift with purchase, the bag, but I accidentally purchased it. So they offered me a secondary bag as well. So now I have two bags. I believe this is the bag everyone's getting because I filled the grips on the back for the Pocket DS versus this is more of a generic one. But hey, I'm glad I got it. And what else we got here? Well, we do got some other stuff. Good stuff. So I will be sharing that with everyone on the accessories video. Looks like we got some good stuff there. So I'm not sure how this is supposed to be a gift box. Looks like any other box, but let's take a look around it. All right, Ayaneo Pocket DS. Make sure we can all read it. My first ever Ayaneo device. Powered by the Snapdragon devices, of course. I just love how that looks. Red is my favorite color. PlayStation color. It's my favorite console controller color. So all good there. All right, and so you can see I have the G3X Gen 2 gaming platform with 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage. Good stuff. All right. So it is retail ready with its UPC codes there. Trying not to damage my box here. This is actually a really nice box that I do keep all the boxes that I unbox. So I have a nice little shelf going of boxes, and this will go right up there. Probably either on top of the ROG Ally X or the Odin 2 Portals box. But as far as box goes, this is definitely one of the nicest looking boxes. I love the gloss picture of the device. All right. Okay, so this is what they mean, I guess. Get a little personalized thing here for being an early orderer. And then this is the standard box. Is it any different? Just taking a quick look around. Doesn't look any different. Now, if you're curious, the Snapdragon G3X Gen 2 is basically as powerful as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. The difference is this was designed specifically for handhelds, whereas the 8 Gen 2 was built for phones and tablets. This is meant to maintain top speed for longer, even if it's a little bit less than the 8 Gen 2. All right, anything under here? Nope. I always have to check since my ROG Ally X came with that origami stand under the lid. Okay, we got this guy over here. Let's take a look here. What is this? Okay, just a protector, but a classy looking protector nonetheless. Okay, Probably the first device I've ever ordered that did not come with a plastic baggie over it, but you do get the cool touch of the aluminum top and the plastic bottom. And I do like that we get built-in ergonomic grips instead of a flat bottom. Very firm, stiff lid there. Okay, now whereas the Thor had a 6-inch screen, this has a 7-inch screen. And whereas the Thor had an almost square 3.92-inch screen, this has a 5-inch 4:3 aspect ratio screen. So definitely more geared towards being able to have retro games down here and videos and modern games up here. But of course, you can still put your retro games up here. This does have the TMR sticks, which TMR, if you're not familiar with, is the most recent type of analog stick you can get that doesn't use a lot of power and is highly accurate, is not prone to drift or other issues that traditional analog sticks were. Okay, so the D-pad has a little bit of a click to it, but not too bad. Same thing with the face buttons. The Odin 2 portals buttons were much more clicky. I have to say the face cap on this is a little small. I'm just trying to see if there's wiggle room. You could possibly get a bit bigger stick, but then you would be impeding on the screen closing possibly. Now, one of the interesting things is this is a similar chassis to a Windows device they released. So this is the power button, but is also a fingerprint reader. So this is the first handheld I've actually used that has a fingerprint reader. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look here. We have our multitasking type windows over here. I'm not sure about that. We have volume up and down. Again, I'm looking at this for the first time, so I'll have to test it out. And then we have different buttons, including the Ayaneo button. Let's take a look around here. Okay, we have a micro SD card slot down here. And then up here, we have a USB-C port with the exhaust. And this is the intake to keep your device nice and cool. And then you see the standard, instead of R1 and R2, they use the Xbox nomenclature. So you have RB for right bumper and RT for right trigger. And then they do have RC, which is a third button that you can program whatever you want here. So if you want to do something like pull up the map or fast forward, you can map it to here. Like on retro games, you can map fast forward type of actions. So you can do that here. Some handhelds have it down here, but it'll be interesting to have it up here. This does have a nice curvature to it, makes it nice and comfortable to hold. And the ergonomic grips feel really good. Feel like the AYN Odin 2 portal with its grip case, but without the side bulge. Like I say, this metal feels fantastic. Much stiffer than the AYN Thor. Okay, let's see what else we got here before I get too excited. I think it's just a charging cable, but let's find out. So that's the only way to find out, is to check things out, right? Let's just see if I can't pull this out. I can, but yeah, I see a piece of paper actually. I don't know what it's for. Okay. So this is QC and okay, for support and the user guide, instead of including it, they just give you a QR code because, well, let's be honest, hardly anybody actually checks that kind of stuff. So why waste the space if you don't need to? Okay, and we get USB-C to USB-C. One of the first devices I've received this year with USB-C to USB-C. But again, this comes from the idea of it being a PC first, and then they added Android and a bigger screen. But I'm glad we get that option. All right. Lots of goodies. Is this the best unboxing I've ever done? No, I would have loved more things like the little secret stand. Sorry about the jiggle there. I would have loved the stand that the ROG Ally X has, or the thumbstick grips that the Embernic RG Slide had. But again, you're working with a premium device, and just like with phones, normally the more expensive devices usually come with less. Okay, so you can freeform it at any height you want. And then when you want to go 180, then it kind of clicks into place. All right, so we got the standard tutorial to get into Android. So I'm going to pause you and I'll be right back after I get Wi-Fi going. Okay, as soon as it connected to Wi-Fi, then it asked me to select my time zone. Didn't even have to push back. So let's find that. And I am in Bangkok and they have just about everything. So let's go this way. I think I was going the wrong way. Yeah, there we go, Bangkok. And that means that it is November 1st for me. Yes. And that is the correct time. So yes, all right, we'll take that. Google services from the get-go. All right. All right. Now it's asking me to set up a pin. Screen lock options. Do I have to? Let's just skip that for now. Skip pin and fingerprint. Pin is required to unlock. Okay, fine. So we'll go ahead and do the pin. Just 1 second. I don't want you to see that. All right. So now we're going to use the fingerprint reader. Just like on a phone that has a fingerprint reader. If you've ever had one, you'll be right at home on here. One thing that I wish is that they had included the plastic film on the screens because, well, no, it'd be nice to be able to peel it for you, especially on video. That's one of the best parts of getting a handheld, or a phone, or anything like that. Is that plastic peel. Okay, getting it ready. You can see we're already in the AES space here. So we have access to the Google Play Store, everything else through settings, AES settings, gamepad testing. All right. Looking good so far. Let's see here. Layout. What does that look like? Icon layout, banner layout, columns. They offer a great deal of customization here, even icon shape. What if I wanted to do circle? Why not, right? Global wallpaper. I haven't added obviously anything myself yet, so I'll have to do that for the live stream. System update. Is there a system update already? I don't know, but let's find out. System is up to date. I always like to do it twice just to be certain. This is currently up to date. Okay, perfect. Good, good. All right, so let's hit the power button for a second. Okay, you hold it, you get power off, restart, screenshot, and sleep. Let's do power off because nice little exit screen there. I have already taken out the 1 terabyte micro SD card. My 1 terabyte micro SD card that I have almost all of my games on. Well, all of them from the Thor at least. Okay, and then peel that off. Now, said this in a previous video, but if you're new to Chinese handhelds, the icon or logo usually goes face down. Let's see. Or are they going to be different? No, they're right. I was right. Okay. I even have my emulator on there to make it easy for us. So as I mentioned, this is an OLED panel, so it still will look fantastic. This is a IPS display. You can definitely tell the difference. That has much blacker when the screen is off. And I'm glad that they're proud of what's powering their device. Let's wait. Do I really have to put in the pin? Okay. Hold on one second. Okay, welcome back. So I have completed that process. Let's take a look here. Dual screen. So you can say you want to run dual screens, top screen only, bottom screen only. I'm not sure because that one gets cut off there. And you want to do automatic switching, home screen, or top screen lock or bottom screen lock. That's nice. The Thor has that as well. So again, you can make it where whatever screen you've touched most recently will be controlled by the controls, or you can tell it just on the fly, I want to only use my controls for the top screen. So you always have to use touch for the bottom, basically, or vice versa. If you're playing like a PS2 game down here, and then you want the tutorial, you can have the tutorial up here. So you want to make sure that it's always controls down on the bottom. Okay. Applications. Okay, good. Controls. Okay, so primary screen, bottom screen. There's no way to do them together. Same thing for the volume. It looks like there's only one volume. So again, that's where the Thor will have an advantage because the Thor lets you control the screen separately and the volume separately or together, your preference. So I'm glad we get that option with the Thor. I'm sure Ayaneo will come up with something similar. Then we have home screen dimming, force landscape, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, dark mode. Yes, please. I love me some dark mode. Let me know down in the comments below. Are you team dark mode or team light mode? Secondary screen looks like cutting. Main screen screen cap. Main screen screenshot. Yeah, so screenshot. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Applications, files. Let's see what we got in files here. Oh, I gotta hit continue first. My bad. All right. Language. Good. Okay. Okay. Volume only shows up there. Okay. Then can I unlock with my fingerprint? Yes, I can. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so push the ANEO button and then you can see our speed. Now, the other thing is, as I mentioned on my Thor videos, if you watched them, that the top screen was 120 hertz, and that's the same case here. The top is 120. This is natively 60. The difference is AYN tricks Google into thinking the bottom is also 120 hertz. So then you can have 120 at the top, while this tries to do 120, but it gives you jittery movement. They haven't done that with ANEO. So if you want the 120 or the 144 hertz that this is capable of, you have to turn off the screen. Okay, but again, you can see our power usage here, our RAM utilization, our GPU and CPU utilization. So as mentioned here, you'd want to go only there, and then you can do 120 hertz. But you can use this as a mouse pad. That's really interesting. I was not expecting that to be a trackpad whenever the screen's off, but it is a trackpad. I think that's pretty cool. At least it gives you utilization of this screen whenever you need it. Ah, all right. I think that's pretty cool, personally. Okay, and then you tap it whenever the screen's off. See, now we're jumping between frame rates because this is able to adjust due to frame rates. Okay, then dual screen, this is how you go back. Okay, seems pretty simple. Not going to complain about that. Just a learning curve. Trying to figure out what all my buttons do here. As I mentioned, this is the first time I've ever had one. So it is a little different than the other ones I've used, but that's all right. Touch the fingerprint sensor, yes. All right, let me get logged in. Okay, so we are logged in. Now, this does come with a file explorer, but I prefer CX. So that's what we're going to download here. If you're wondering why I'm bothering with the Google Play Store. Normally, I would also get Gmail, but since I added ESDE Emulation Station Desktop Edition to the micro SD card, I shouldn't need it. But I'm still going to download it. But first, I want CX to see if it'll work. So search CX File Explorer. And if you understand, if you've ever watched a YouTube channel where his ending of every video is "Stay nerdy, my friends," you'll know who taught me about CX File Explorer. Great guy. I'd love to meet him sometime, but haven't met him yet. All right, so here we are. We have Nick. Hey, Nick, what are you doing? All right. What, did it go here or yeah? All right. Let's just take a look at this. Mhm. Now I might need to That's the thing I'm not sure of since I haven't done this before. This is just something I had thought of because of TechDweeb having my emulators and front ends on the micro SD card. But how do I get it to launch? So all I get is files here, you know? Kind of interesting. Should have probably tried that out before today. But I like to try figuring things out with you guys because I want you guys to feel comfortable knowing that you're not the only ones that are experiencing things whenever you're trying to do things for the first time. Okay, okay, interesting, interesting. Again, just trying to figure out everything as I go. So yeah, I'm not sure at the moment. I got an idea. You know I'm crazy, but let's take a look here. Default apps. Let's see here. Aya Home, Aya Space, and Quick Setup. That'll give us Android. Do we get? Yes, we do. Look at that. All right. Some big icons though on the 7-inch screen. Feels like a tablet. Nice and cool to the touch. Welcome to Chrome. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I'm in. Sure. Sync it up. Sure, why not? Yes, allowed. All right. So they only give us on our home screen Chrome and Google Play Store. But again, we do have swipe from the bottom. All right. So it's going to take a little bit more work than I thought. So let's do that real quick. And we need to go to not sure why this is, but again, I'll have to figure it out. The reason I'm going to Gmail is because when you subscribe to the Patreon for Emulation Station Desktop Edition, that is where they will add you to their mailing list and they will send you an email every time there's a new updated version of the APK. So to do that, then you just look up ESDE from your list and find it. All right, well, I'm going to close that. I'm not going to bother with that. That'll have to be for part of the live stream is what I did. So I'll tell you guys during the live stream what I did. I want to be as real as possible with you guys. So I'm not going to bore you. You're going through my email, download the APK. Like I say, I have to figure out why it's not there. Maybe I need something else. I don't know. Might have to message TechDweeb. I don't know. He's also a Canadian little guy, so he's a good guy. Again, this is my first Ayaneo device, and this is the first time that I was going to try put the emulators, front ends, and ROMs all on the micro SD card, so I can hot swap them between the devices. So I have to figure out how to do that. I might even ask Copilot. I'm not sure at this point, but I'm not going to bother you guys. So if you're excited about this, again, remember to subscribe for more videos. Every Monday I do an unboxing or something else related to handhelds. Maybe I'll do a series on my favorite games of all the various consoles series, maybe my favorite games of all time, whatever. That'll be on Mondays. On Wednesdays I do live streams unless I notify you otherwise with a community post. And then on Fridays I do the reviews. Now it could be a short-term review after I've used the device for about a week, or it could be a long-term review like I just did recently for the ROG Ally X about 6 months later. So I can compare and contrast my thoughts to then versus now. And sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. You never know. That was my first device, and surprisingly, the average score was still the same, even though 3 of the 7 categories received different scores. And trust me, I didn't try to do it that way. I just said what I thought for each category, and then I wrote that down, and then I calculated it, and I looked at my original scores, and some were the same, some of them were different, but the overall score ended up being the same. Very strange. Anyways, like I say, if you found this entertaining, if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to share this with anyone else that you think may enjoy handhelds, or some guy fumbling around a handheld for the first time. And let me know what game you want to see played on this. I will have this device for 2 weeks because it is a big device. Let me know what games you'd like to see during the live streams, and if I can't add them during the first live stream, I'll add them during the second live stream and play them for you. And if you can join, great. I love being able to talk to you guys live. If not, we will live in the comments. I will leave a reply to every comment you guys make and give you a thumbs up and all of that fun stuff. And I do that because I appreciate you guys. Again, you guys have many options out there, and I want to thank you for taking your time to watch my video. But in the meantime, I'm going to get off this soapbox, get to playing with this, figuring out how to get ESDE going with solely on the micro SD card. And I will let you know during the first live stream, of course. And until next time, this has been P. Nick.